Well, hey, anybody that's watching, this is Chris. So here's my progress. Um, Latest update. Things are starting to move along pretty good. Yesterday I went to see a new doctor, a new hormone doctor. The one I was going to over on the south of Denver. There was just everything just got all screwy with the paperwork and everything, and she's too far away. She's just too far away for me to go. So I found another doctor that's over here on my side of town. Still not real close, over in Boulder, which is a little, well, probably about maybe 20 miles from where I live, but still closer. And she works a couple of days a week at, she's an OBGYN, and she works a couple of days a week at the Boulder Valley Women's Health Center. And so I went to see her yesterday, and it took 2 hours. Good Lord. First, instead of taking the highway, I took a back road that Maggie suggested, and I went all the way up and got on this back road, and then I couldn't find the road leading directly into town, into Boulder, and I ended up God knows where. I think I was almost to Manitou Springs. I don't know where the hell I was. And there was road work. Oh God. I left home 2 hours early. It doesn't take 2 hours to get to Boulder. Well, especially not on the highway. But there I was, you know. So even had to turn off my engine because we were just sitting there, and there were all these trucks in front of us, these from the road crew, and all these flashing lights, and I'm like, well, there was no traffic coming from the other direction. Why couldn't we go, you know? And we're all sitting there in the hot sun, and I had already burned up an hour, and I was like, crap, you know, I didn't think I was going to make my appointment because I didn't even know how far outside of Boulder I was. But fortunately, I found a sign that said, you know, this way to Broomfield, and I'm like, oh, Broomfield, okay. So I drove back around, and I managed to make my appointment. I hooked up with Highway 36 directly into Boulder, and I drove back and forth a couple of times on the road they told me the clinic was on, and they told me there's a big white sign, and I'm like, I'm looking for this white sign, and I mean, I knew the address. So I went east on Valmont, which was the street. Then I went west on Valmont. Finally, I turned to a 7-Eleven, and I asked the woman, where are you? I didn't see the sign anywhere. And then she told me exactly where they were. And so I drove back over there and looked again, and the sign was behind some bushes. I mean, it was visible, but it was, you know, it was not like right there out by the road where you could really see it. And so finally I got there just in time. My appointment was at noon. I got there just in time, and it took 30 minutes just to fill out the paperwork for my initial appointment. And then I don't know if she was a medical assistant or a nurse assistant. I think she was a nurse. Yeah, I think she was a nurse. And she took me into one of the rooms back there, and she you know, went over my information, was putting all this stuff in the computer and asking me, you know, a couple questions, and so then when I got done with her, and she took my blood pressure, and then when I got done with her, I waited a couple minutes, and then this woman came in. I guess she's like in training under the doctor I was supposed to see. So she comes in, and she's interviewing me and asking me all these questions, and I'm like, oh Lord. So after she got done interviewing me, that took probably a good 20 minutes. Then finally, my doctor came in, Dr. Weinberg, and she was really nice. She's really cool. And she asked me a bunch of questions and went over with me the effects and some of the possible risks of taking testosterone, which is stuff I already knew, but oh well. And she expressed a concern about the cancer I had in the past. You know, in 2008, the ovarian and uterine cancers, for which I had a total hysterectomy. And I had had blood clots in my legs prior to that, which was most likely, they thought was most likely due to the cancer. Because when the cancer went away, well, the legs got better before the cancer went away. But you know, I had like 6 rounds of chemo and all that. But they still kept me on the blood thinners until about a few months after the surgery was all over with, and the chemo treatments. And but she was all concerned about that, you know. So she said she wanted to talk to my oncologist and find out if it was safe now for me to have the shots, because, you know, they have the testosterone apparently has been shown to be a high risk factor for breast cancer, but that's only if you have the BRCA1 and BRCA2 gene mutations or whatever. And my family doesn't have that. We have a different genetic mutation. We have HNPCC, or Lynch syndrome, which is it's an entirely different genetic mutation, which is not, you know, has not been shown to be linked to breast cancer. So anyway, she just wants to be sure. So she's got to talk to my oncologist to make sure it's okay with her for me to do this, for me to, you know, for my health to start doing these shots. And then they have to wait for my referral letter for my therapist. And I saw my therapist on Monday night, and we went over the WPATH stuff, and we filled out some forms, and I signed things, and, you know, we got everything all ready. And I told her I was, you know, sorry to spring this on her so suddenly, you know, because she said it would probably it could take from 1 to 2 weeks, usually 2 weeks, to get the letter finished, because she has a doctor that she works under, and a therapist, and her superior has to sign off on all these things. And she was supposed to be meeting with her yesterday, which of course was the day of my appointment. Well, I gave her the fax number to my doctor, to my hormone doctor, so whenever it's ready she can just fax it over there. So the 2 things I'm waiting on now is my oncologist to say it's safe for me to start this, and for them to get the referral letter. Dr. Weinberg said she was going to go ahead. She went ahead and wrote the script for the testosterone and put it in my file, and they're ready to call it into my pharmacy as soon as she gets, you know, those other 2 things done. So that's all I'm waiting on. So it'll either be later this week or sometime next week, hopefully, when everything's finished and they can call in my script to my local Target pharmacy and I can just go pick it up, you know. But anyway, that's where I'm at, and in the meantime I've been putting off doing all the other things I need to do, getting my fingerprinting done, going and petitioning the court for my name change, and I'm putting the ad in the newspaper. All that stuff has been put on hold, so I gotta get back to doing that stuff. But I just want to get the damn shots started. And I found a doctor in Boulder, a young male doctor in Boulder that takes Medicare, and he's a plastic surgeon, so I may be able to get my chest surgery done through him, which hopefully I could get done during the Christmas holidays while Maggie's off, you know, while school is out. And we'll see. I have an appointment with him on the 30th of September, so we'll see how that goes. Anyway, that's my update, and a lot of stuff going on, and God, I didn't think it was going to be this difficult, but things are looking pretty good now. So anyway, that's it for now, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.